So if you haven't watched my last video, the Fatroll crit fishing montage, as Namp put it, I recommend that you do before you watch this one, but it's very much not mandatory. Today I'm going to be looking at the merits and drawbacks of fat rolling for invasions, which, if you know anything about invasions or about fat rolling, you probably already know that the drawbacks pretty solidly outweigh the merits, which also pretty much means that this video is going to be about as useless as the data that Limit Breakers so generously provides to us. But anyway, if you desire some level of entertainment and a growth in the subsection of your DS3 knowledge repository that you are never going to use, I do invite you to watch on, dear viewer. Otherwise, just close the window or click onto another video. I don't know, I can't solve that problem for you. Preliminary disclosure, pretty much all the footage you're going to see is at least some level of cherry-picked. If you're going to invade while fat rolling, do not expect to see identical results always. Mostly because sometimes you just get blendered to death by the gank and those invasions aren't really worth saving. And that's because you don't really learn much from them and they're not very fun to watch. That's true of Dark Souls 3 invasions in general, but even more true when you're fat rolling. So anyway, these are the best invasions I got where I actually won. If you've watched my montage, you'll note that there aren't very many Host of Embers destroyed clips in there. That is partially because Don't Stop Me Now by Queen is only 3.5 minutes long and I had a lot of clips to fit in, but more because most of the invasions where I got the best clips I didn't actually end up winning. Sorry to lift the veil if your worldview is shattered by this big reveal. Anyway, let's begin 2 minutes into the video with the merits of fat rolling for invasions. It's a little funny. I mentioned in a Discord server I'm in that I was going to make a serious video, a very serious video, on the pros and cons of fat rolling. And somebody responded, wait, there are actually benefits to fat rolling? And yes, believe it or not, there are 3 advantages that you gain from fat rolling. The first advantage is build related, because the game is basically balanced around the 70% and 30% equip load thresholds. Changing the equip load threshold you have to meet to 100% means that you can stack heavy ass armor even without putting a single level into vitality. And that means you can also save a ton of points you can put into other stats. The final build I used for all these invasions had 48 vigor, 14 attunement, 40 endurance, 22 strength, 18 dexterity, 30 in faith, and I still had like 8 extra points I ended up throwing into vitality for the flat defense. And all of that at soul level 133 plus 10. And with a Chaos Zwei, Kestis, Filionor's Chime, and a Pierced Shield, I was chilling at 43 goddamn poise at 80% equip load. I could have probably gone full Havels and started consistently poising through two-handed Ultra Greats if I wasn't obliged to wear full Katarina set for, Project Goof and all that. Anyway, benefit 1. Save points and vitality and wear basically any armor you want. Benefit 2. Roll poise. The amount of poise you get on your roll in Dark Souls 3 directly corresponds to your type of roll. I don't have exact numbers because I'm not a PC data mining wizard. But I do know that fast roll gets no roll poise, so getting roll caught by any attack that deals poise damage will stagger your ass. Mid roll gets probably somewhere around halberd or mace roll poise, and then fat roll gets somewhere around greatsword poise. And since you have all the poise in the world from benefit number 1, you're going to be roll poising a lot of stuff that you'd never be roll poising with mid roll. Note that you still do need poise to roll poise stuff. It's not DS1 poise, y'all. It's still a hyper armor efficacy modifier. Final benefit. This is pretty imprecise, I'll admit. It's kind of vaguely worded, but here's the best way I came up with saying it. Yeah, your roll. It does suck. But you've got a lot of tools which make it unnecessary to roll a lot of the time. Big poise hyper armor is hard to play aggressively against, since mistakes tend to lead to big damage taken, and the fact that hyper armor means that you don't stagger easily allows you to quite literally stand your ground and dictate the rhythm of the fight. Your opponent has very little choice but to play passive against you, to operate on your terms, at least until they find an opening. It's actually not horrifically impossible to fat roll in duels. Sure, you'll get completely eaten alive by somebody who knows what they're doing, but you can control the flow of the fight well enough against quite a few players. take this bonfire duel against the similarly thick winged boy here. Dude's got a gold medal, a Chaos Lothric Knightsword, and you can tell by his movement he's pretty experienced, so he's definitely not a bad player. But I literally didn't have to roll the entire duel because I had the hyper armor to not have to roll. Now, if you get in a situation where you have to roll, though, that is where some serious cracks in fat rolling emerge. Crack number 1 of 2, the more obvious of the two big flaws with fat roll. Your roll distance, recovery time, and iframes are all horrendous compared to mid-roll. You lose an iframe, going from 13 to 12. Your recovery frames occupy what seems like an eternity, and literally every single straight sword you see gets that second swing R1 roll catch because your roll distance is ass. If you have to roll against a fast weapon, your principal hope is for roll poise to kick in and save you from the subsequent mix-up blender that's probably going to melt your health bar. If you have to roll against multiple attacks with no friendly fire, your odds of getting out are really, really low. Floating Chaos, Lightning Arrow, and low FP cost sorceries like Soul Arrow and Deep Soul are a nightmare to fight in an invasion while fat rolling. My best advice is to apply Perseverance and get the fuck out of there, because getting stunned by spammed projectiles is even worse while fat rolling than it is mid-rolling or light rolling. Crack number 2 of 2, your stamina regenerates approximately 20% more slowly while fat rolling. That sucks because it makes running away harder. Chloranthy plus 3 is highly recommended, borderline a necessity. That's it for the second flaw. There's not much more depth in it. It just kind of sucks. In short, escaping dicey situations becomes way, way harder when you're fat rolling. Your job as an invader, or I suppose in any situation, is to try and avoid getting stuck in those dicey situations in the first place. Overall, despite having a few minor upsides, fat roll is never the right call for invasions unless you're masochistic and or want to make an onion montage. There you go. This video was pretty much useless. It basically just told you what you already knew in a more roundabout fashion. Now, get out, unless you're still here and want to watch a fat rolling dogword of Katarina and a light rolling JeeNiNe beat up on a guy summoning blues. Minor backstory for this invasion. I was not aware of this at the time, but JeeNiNe was streaming while this was going on. I popped in because I figured he might be streaming after it finished and pretended that I wasn't involved and that there was an imposter dog running around because I wanted my secret montage project to remain a secret, and was instantly given shit by half of chat. Upon rewatching, G said, "Oh, that's Mr. Silly Dog," upon invading, and most of chat concluded that I was the host rather than the bulbous, thick invader, because they don't see me wearing much besides Lap Cathedral Thorns Black Iron. I would like to publicly give JeeNiNe's chat shit here and now. Clearly, the host here is wearing Exile Cathedral Thorns Black Iron, not Lap Cathedral Thorns Black Iron. How could you possibly not notice the difference and realize it wasn't me? Come on, guys, like, really now. Come on. This is a rookie mistake. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the invasion, and thank you all for watching if you've made it this far. Peace.